Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I thought I would start the A Game of Thrones written by George Martin. This is the first book in the A Song of Ice and Fire series. Now, A Game of Thrones is probably going to be my favorite out of all of the books. And, well, to be fair though, that's probably going to be the only book I'll be reading since I don't plan on reading the rest of them. But I have some good and some bad things to say about A Game of Thrones. About the stuff that I liked, the main plot was the selling point. Obviously, it had a very good main plot. Seeing how Ned Stark, this sort of honorable, prudent man, contrasts with the decadence. Ugh, bugs everywhere. With the decadence and the political corruption that goes on in, King's Landing. That was very interesting, and he made some very foolish mistakes throughout, because he isn't the political savvy person that he needs to be in order to survive a Game of Thrones. But I think that's really good, and it was very interesting to contrast someone who is a fairly good moral ruler with a political landscape that calls for every single ounce of political savvy that you need. The downsides. I believe that A Game of Thrones can get a little edgy sometimes. The edginess especially pokes out during the Daenerys parts. I can't really point to specific examples, but I'm sure if you've read it, there might have been a few times for you that the story felt a little edgy. I don't know. That's my opinion, though. About the Daenerys parts, there was a lot of it that I liked, but there were also parts of it that I just completely skipped. I'm sure if you've read the entirety of it, you know what scenes and specific scene that I am talking about. So, yeah. And then the Jon Snow parts, see, at the time, I read this back in January and February. Fucking bugs everywhere. Back in January and February of this year. And so that was quite a while ago, and I view reading a lot differently than I did back then. But, give me a second. But I did not want to read the Jon Snow parts, first of all, because I just wasn't interested at the time. And secondly, because I was reading for a political fantasy book that I was writing. That, I think I got around 20,000 words in before I quit. But, yeah, so I can't say too much about the Jon Snow parts, but from what I hear and from what I read, it's actually pretty good. And obviously, characters like Tyrion. Tyrion doesn't really... he doesn't really stand out until the later books, and as I said, I'm probably not going to read the later books for a long time for various reasons. But that's about it for what I can think about A Game of Thrones. To summarize, I really like the main plot. It's a bit edgy, though. At least to me. That's how I feel about it. And there were some other good parts to it. Like the children characters, Arya Stark was kind of fun to read with, and Sansa, they didn't do her too horribly. Like, she's very naive, and that was kind of interesting to read, and the kids, and they get obnoxious at times, and it was a little funny at times. And annoying. But that's about it. Have a good day or night, and I'll see you all another time.